2024 was the year that I got my creativity back. It does sound a little weird, doesn't it, that I run a creative business but felt like I was lacking in creativity, but that's just how it felt at the end of 2023. Why did I feel that my creativity was lost by the end of 2023? Well, 2023 was a big move for my business. I moved into this studio. I had a lot of renovations to do. I was planning workshops, I was creating workshops, I was teaching workshops, I was renting the space for other creatives to teach their workshops, I was setting up a tiny shop, and all at the same time as running my own jewellery business. Turning what you love into a job is a little bit hard sometimes, and I felt that my creative spark had started to dim a little bit, and I wanted to fill up my creative cup again. I was focusing on too many moving parts in my business, and it was taking a toll on my creativity. When 2024 rolled around, I knew I wanted to reignite the spark of my creative practice, and I knew that it had to be something easy to do, really manageable, and not take up too much time or space. So how I brought it back was by making a huge mind map of all the things that I wanted to learn, things that I'd wanted to learn forever and had never had the time, the space, or the energy to try. And I wanted to make sure two things. One, that it would be something involving items that have been discarded or unwanted or unneeded. And the second thing was I wanted to use as many natural materials as possible. I put a little handout together for myself to go forward into 2025 with my creativity, and I thought that might be something that would be useful to you if you feel a bit stuck in a rut or you're just starting on a creative journey. Then it's coming up later in the video. So 2024 was the year of the Creative Calm Challenge. It was creatively calm activities that I wanted to do that would only take 10 minutes a day. Sometimes I would work for an hour on it, sometimes I'd work just for a few minutes on it, but it didn't really matter. It's the 1st of January, so this is the kickoff for the Creative Calm Challenge, which is a little challenge that I've set up on Instagram, pretty much for myself. I noticed that last year I was so busy in my business that I didn't have time for my own creativity, that I had loads of creative ideas, but I found it hard to find out which ones to pursue. And I was just working on jewellery ideas rather than creative expression, if you like. So I decided that this is the year that I'm going to bring that back. How I do it is in a sketchbook, but how you do it could be through music, through words, it could be through photography, it could be any way you want to do it. It doesn't matter. Okay, the idea is that you set aside a time and a place that you're going to be creative every week, if you like, every day, if you like, several times a day, if you like. It's totally up to you. There are no rules. The only rule is that you just get on and have a go at being creative. And also, if you want to share, you can use the hashtag Creative Calm Challenge. But if you don't want to share publicly, and you just want to chat with me, please just DM me the things that you're working on. I'm just so interested to find out what people are doing. I want to be inspired by you and by your projects. I'm going to bravely share mine. I'm a bit nervous about that. It's a bit of a departure from what I usually do, but I'm so excited because mostly I'll be working on different printmaking techniques, because printmaking is the thing that I used to do before jewellery. Join in, even if you think you're not creative. Everybody's creative, okay? Just be brave, have a go. So do you think I kept up the challenge until December 2024? Do you think I carried on all the way through the year? Well, watch to the end and you'll see what I got up to. I started the year with a very deep dive into gel printing, and I learned how to do monoprints using natural materials. I made collagraphs, I did textual prints, I printed with found objects, I did magazine transfers, I did. Basically, I went very, very deep for many, many weeks. And every single day when I came into the studio, I tried a new technique. And eventually I put together a curriculum so that I could teach a comprehensive gel printing course, which lasts at least a day. I also tried intaglio printing, which was something that I'd always wanted to do, but I hadn't realised that you could do it with Tetra Paks. In the past, I shied away from this art because I was so worried about finding the copper and how to etch and the kind of ink that I needed, and I didn't have a roller. But I found a few videos online that talked about using a Sizzix Big Shot press, and I have one of those. And I'll also, not using metal, although you can use metal with it, use Tetra Paks to etch a design into and then print. Now this was particularly challenging in Japan because I had no idea what kind of ink to use. I finally found the right kind of ink, and hopefully I'll be doing an intaglio printing workshop very soon, as well as a video tutorial here on YouTube. That will be added to my 2025 project list. I found that I wanted to restart my YouTube, which had been floundering and I had no idea what it was going to be about from a few years before. And in May, I decided to see it as a creative activity so that the 10 minutes a day or 30 minutes or an hour a day, I could use to create YouTube tutorial videos. I could experiment with different crafts that I always wanted to try, and also create some things that would be useful to you, as well as the content creation being a really creative process. So looking at creative shooting, creative editing, and making it fun along the way. In this business, I've always been working in vintage kimono fabrics, and I have been taking apart damaged kimonos for many, many years now. One of the things I always had trouble with is when you take out the lining from the kimono, there's usually a cream lining. It's usually not that decorative. Sometimes there's some different painting and shading on it, but mainly it's kind of something that you feel like you want to discard. Because it's silk, I really felt so bad throwing any of it away. And when I found a way to use it in my gel prints, I was so excited. So again, I'll be doing some more tutorials coming up in 2025 about using silk and other fabrics to gel print onto. I've always been a thrifter. I've always bought my clothes at thrift shops and antique markets. I actually feel and have felt before it was trendy to do so that mending clothes is essential, if not a really amazing skill that has been lost along the way. So that is something that I'm picking up at the moment. And when I was in the UK in the summer visiting family, I did get COVID, which was such a depressing experience. So because I was trying to stay away from people, I decided I was going to record a video about flower pounding in my mum's garage. I used all the flowers from her beautiful garden, and she didn't mind me cutting them at all. And I was in the garage pounding the flowers so that I could print onto a really nice cotton shirt. It was at this point that I actually deep dived into how to do natural dyeing. From the middle of 2024, that is where my focus kind of went. I started to learn all about how to mordant, scour, which fabrics did what kind of mordants would produce which results. And I found it so exciting because in the end, I found a use for the kimono lining that I had been saving them for years. I had bags and bags of them, and now they are becoming beautiful fabrics. Having been in my mum's garden, which is in the countryside, I was feeling a bit fed up when I got back to Tokyo because especially I'd had COVID, I didn't feel very well, but also that my trip had been full of green. We'd been in Cornwall and up in Lancashire, and it was so green everywhere. I got back to Tokyo and I felt kind of out of touch with nature for a while. So I decided that I was going to bring my ideas back of using natural objects. So when I was on my walks with Coco from August, I started to forage for different materials that I thought might be good to put in a dye pot. So I found chestnuts on the floor, I found pomegranates. The pomegranate story is a story in itself and it's on another video. And I found beautiful leaves, I found some goldenrod. I found so many things that I could make colour with that it was so exciting to me. Now, I didn't pick anything off a tree. I just found stuff on the floor, gave it a good wash and then popped it in the dye pot. Then threw the silk and the cotton in there and made amazing new colours for basically free. So in the natural dyeing process, I was so excited about shifting colours, changing the pH levels of the dyes and getting different colours out. In 2025, my dye diary is going to be a really useful document because I want to go and find more recycled clothing and I want to dye the whole garments a bit more. So come with me in 2025 because I'll be going thrifting in Tokyo and I'll be looking for garments that are made from natural materials. In October and November, I actually found a use for my silks that I'd been making and I made some Christmas baubles out of them, and I also made a very small collection of kimono jewellery, which will be available on my website in 2025. So if you watched this far, thank you so much for sticking around. I would love to show you what I'm up to in 2025. So please consider subscribing to my channel. Make sure you like this video and hit the notifications bell because then you'll know when I put out some new information, some new content. So what's next for 2025 for Studio Biku? Well, I've already done my activity that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. You can get a download of this little activity in the description by signing up to my newsletter and you will automatically get a copy of it. And please make sure that when you've signed up that you check your spam folder, your junk folder, or even your promotions, because I do often end up in these deep dark places of your inbox. So 2025, I'm going to be doing a big project. I have got this big interest still going on in natural dyeing, so I'm going to be taking it a step further. I'm going to be creating an urban dye garden on my deck. It's a tiny little space, but I felt like if I could dye in an urban setting, anyone can dye. I'm going to be making videos to update you over the year to see how I'm doing with my dye garden. I don't know whether it's going to work, whether I've got enough sunlight for some of the plants. At the moment, I'm planning my planting schedule, the types of plants that produce great dyes, and I will be sharing that with you really soon. Happy New Year to you. I wish you a creative and fulfilling 2025, and I'll see you on the flip side.